All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are here tonight with Mariann Cameron, the director of Pride and Prejudice, and just doing a quick interview here before the show opens Friday night. And this is your first directorial debut, is that correct?
That's correct. First time.
How do you feel about that?
I've really enjoyed myself. It's been very enlightening. I've learned a lot of things that I need to take into consideration when I'm in the cast the next time. But it's been awesome. I've had an amazing cast to work with, amazing help throughout the community with costumes, with the sets, with everything you can imagine. So the community's really stepped up as far as our community theater. So it's been awesome.
So how do you feel, directing your first show under Cutler Bros Productions banner? You've had a lot of experience doing plays here, and we've it's always interesting for a new director for us because we always have a specific setup. We like things ran a certain way, but beyond that, you kind of run things the entire way you want to. So how you felt about this entire process so far?
Well, I think I was the most comfortable doing it under Cutler Brothers just because I am so familiar with you guys and the way that you expect your theater ran and what to expect, how to proceed with everything. So I was really comfortable with everything, and I felt like I had all the support behind me that I possibly needed because it is Cutler Brothers.
Cool. Yes. So back in the day when we first started out with Cutler Brothers Productions, we basically, a lot of plays we just throw together at the last second. And the Thursday night before we opened, that was the dress rehearsal. We've never done anything before like that, where it's like we ran it first time ever live. Nowadays with our plays, we do a tech rehearsal, which is pretty much off book on Sunday, then another tech rehearsal on Monday, then we do a dress rehearsal on Tuesday for the first act, dress rehearsal on Wednesday for the second act, and the final dress rehearsal on Thursday. So we have almost 5 different dress rehearsals to prepare everybody for a show. And how do you feel how that process has gone so far?
I love it. I'm glad that we kind of switched to that process and I followed suit, obviously, with it. I think that really prepares the cast. It allows for people to get used to their costumes, acting in their costumes, gets them used to the stage and the scene, and also just having them off book from that Sunday, giving them the whole week to get used to not having something in their hands that they can fall back on when they forget a line or something. Really getting them to start thinking on their feet.
Absolutely. And one thing I like to say here is for people like me, I didn't know really anything about Pride and Prejudice. So for a lot of people that want to see a play and want to see a really good show, in a very quick way, because Pride and Prejudice is a very popular play, everybody knows the play pretty much. But I think there's a lot of people out there that don't quite know exactly what it's about entirely. So how would you, in summary, describe the best way about what Pride and Prejudice is actually about?
Well, it really goes back to the 1800s and how women's roles were to be married off into wealthy families, hopefully, but married off for sure. So this is basically about a mother with 5 daughters who's trying to marry off her daughters, one very strong-willed daughter that doesn't necessarily think that that is necessarily her path in life, but she ends up finding the right person. So it's a combination of, a love story combined with old type of traditions that we don't necessarily follow anymore.
So kind of in a certain way, it's about elitism, royalty, and people judging other people based on their financial income and based on their status and things of that nature. So in some ways, and basically just me doing my own research on Pride and Prejudice, it feels almost like the typical high school type atmosphere. People are judging people and everything else between their pride and their prejudices. Is that correct?
Oh, 100%. Everything is based off from how much money they make, where their status is as far as the town and the city. So yes, it's very much like high school with the cliques and who is the most popular, who has the most money, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so I come in and say I'm playing the one of the lead characters, Darcy, and then I see Elizabeth, and I'm this big popular athlete or whatever. I see Elizabeth, and she's kind of well, she's not very good at sports, but I kind of come in and say, you know what? Nope, you're not good enough. And then later on, it's kind of it reverses itself, where it's she comes back and she's like, yeah, explain that, what I'm trying to say here.
Well, basically, it's going to be, let's say, your typical bookworm. That would be Elizabeth. And she realizes that Darcy, the football jock, let's say, is not worthy of her time just because he is so high and mighty and he's held himself to this certain title because of where he's at, that he automatically assumes she is below him because of her rank, or if we were to revert it back, because she is a bookworm and not necessarily a jock.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that she did it better than I could possibly do it. Anyways, come down and see Pride and Prejudice. We're doing this interview live from the basement of Cutler Bros Theater, which is where the creep show happens, because guess what? There's a production out there called Pride and Prejudice Zombies. Have you seen it?
I have not, but I've heard a lot about it this last week.
So if you're out there and you're a guy or whatever, and you don't understand Pride and Prejudice or whatever, check out Pride and Prejudice Zombies. It probably will go right up your alley, and you get more information on that. And then you can come down to Cutler Bros Theater and see it live here this weekend and next weekend. Any last thoughts here?
No, just a big thank you to my cast, and thanks to you guys for letting me direct this show.
Yes, awesome. Come down, see Pride and Prejudice this weekend and next weekend, Fridays and Saturdays, 7:30 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. And we'll see you at the show.